In the last couple of minutes, the Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi has said that he will be launching his leadership pitch for the top job in 2 days' time on Monday, and has given an outline of what kind of campaign he will be running. And it does feel like he will be running a campaign set quite against and in opposite to the one that Rishi Sunak has set out. He is talking a lot about the burden of taxation and saying that taxes are simply too high. And as an entrepreneur and businessman, he knows that lower taxes are how we create a thriving, dynamic economy. I think as a dig at not just Rishi Sunak, but potentially could be seen as a dig at Boris Johnson as well. He says overseeing the highest tax burden since 1949 is not the Conservative way. We cannot tax our way into prosperity. So I think clearly he is designing a campaign really to stand on the other side of that argument around taxation. Rishi Sunak very much talking about kind of fiscal responsibility and about having to take care of the economy initially before then looking to cut taxes after that. Nadhim Zahawi also talking about his background. He, of course, came to the UK as a young boy, aged 11, and he couldn't speak English. He came from Iraq, fled from Iraq, and says that his background there means that he knows that security, safety and freedom are things that we can't take for granted. And he's committing that defence spending needs to rise in response to Putin's war in Ukraine. Also talking about education. He, of course, was Education Secretary up until a few days ago when he moved into the Treasury and became Chancellor in the midst of all of the turmoil as ministers were resigning. And he says he will continue his education reforms and says that he will protect children from inappropriate nonsense being forced on them by radical activists. So I think we can expect maybe Nadhim Zahawi to be taking aim at some of those sort of woke issues that we know the government have been pursuing as to try and set them apart from Labour in recent weeks and months. So he is the sixth person, by my count, to be in the running now. In terms of the things that could hold him back, the challenges he may have to face, well, I think a lot of eyebrows were raised in the last few days about how Nadhim Zahawi reacted as ministers were resigning, when Rishi Sunak, when Sajid Javid resigned from Boris Johnson's cabinet. He went into number 10 and got himself a better job. He moved up from Education Secretary to Chancellor, saying that essentially there was a sort of duty to serve, a duty to look after the country through this time. Of course, within 24 hours, he had written to Boris Johnson and told Boris Johnson that he thought he should step down and he should go. Now, for some in the party, that may be seen as a positive, as a sign of loyalty, of not sort of stabbing the leader in the back, if you like. Others may feel that he didn't almost have the guts to put his job on the line, like people like Rishi Sunak and Sajid Javid. You may find that Nadhim Zahawi runs into some other tricky questions. Whilst he's got clearly very humble roots and a fascinating backstory in terms of how he came to the UK, he is a man now of quite considerable wealth. And I think you can expect, in the same way that there has been scrutiny of Rishi Sunak's finances, considerable scrutiny of that part of Nadhim Zahawi's life as well, albeit I think he has quite a interesting and compelling story to tell from the position he was when he came to the country to where he has ended up now. Of course, he started and founded the polling company YouGov and was very, very successful in that field.